The name of the Czech Republic derives from the Slavic tribe of Czechs. The Czech Kingdom existed between 1085 to 1918 and ruled the lands of the Bohemian Crown. After the split of the Habsburg Empire, of which the kingdom was a part since the 17th century, the new country Czechoslovakia was created by the union of the Czech lands and Slovakia. After the dissolution of Czechoslovakia in the so-called Velvet Divorce of 1993, the name the Czech Republic was created as the official long-form name. The official short-form Czech name for the Czech lands is Česko, while almost all languages adopted variants of Česko for the short-form name at this time. The English equivalent Czechia, Tiki, though attested as early as 1841, is rarely used in the English-speaking world. Czech-language name. The country is named after the Czechs, a Slavic tribe residing in central Bohemia that subdued the surrounding tribes in the late 9th century and created the Czech Bohemian state. The origin of the name of the tribe itself is unknown. According to legend, it comes from the leader Czech who brought them to Bohemia. Research regards Czech as a derivative of the root cell. Several variants of the name have been used over the centuries, due to the evolution of the Czech language. The digraph "cz" was used from the time of the 16th century Bible of Kralis until the Reform of 1842, being eventually replaced by "c". In the late 19th century, the suffix for the names of countries changed from y to sko, while the notion of Česko appears for the first time in 1704. It only came into official use in 1918 as the first part of the name of the newly independent Czechoslovakia. Within that state, the Czech Socialist Republic was created on the 1st of January 1969. On the 6th of March 1990, the Czech Socialist Republic was renamed the Czech Republic. When Czechoslovakia broke up in 1993, the Czech part of the name was intended to serve as the name of the Czech state. The decision started a dispute as many perceived the new word Česko, which before had been only rarely used alone, as harsh-sounding or as a remnant of Československo. The older term Čechi was rejected by many because it was primarily associated with Bohemia proper, and to use it for the whole country was seen as inappropriate. This feeling was especially prominent among the inhabitants of Moravia. The use of the word Česko within the country itself has increased in recent years. During the 1990s, Česko was rarely used and viewed as controversial. Some Czech politicians and public figures expressed concern about the non-use of Česko and Czechia. On the other side, individuals such as President Václav Havel and Minister Alexander Vondra have strongly opposed using these forms. In 1997, the Civic Initiative Czechia was formed by linguists and geographers in Brno to promote the use of Czechia. The following year, a conference of professionals aimed at encouraging the use of the name was held at Charles University in Prague. The Czech Senate held a session on the issue in 2004. English language name. The historical English name of the country is Bohemia. This name derives from the Celtic tribe of Boii, which inhabited the area from the 4th century BC. Bohemia, as it is known in Latin, comes from the Germanic Boheim, meaning home of the Boii. The name survived all the following migrations affecting the area, including the arrival of the Slavs and the creation of the Czech state. In the 9th century, the country became officially known as the Duchy of Bohemia, changing to the Kingdom of Bohemia in the 11th century, and the lands of the Bohemian Crown in the 14th century. The Bohemian state included the three historical Czech lands, Bohemia in narrow meaning, Moravia and Czech Silesia. For the 14th century until 1635 it also included Upper and Lower Lusatia. In the early 17th century, the English gentleman finds more ice and referred to the area as Bohemian in his 4-volume published account of his tour of Europe. The higher hierarchical status of the Bohemian region led to that name being used for the larger country, with the people and language of this land being commonly referred to as Bohemian. During the 19th century national revival, the English word Czech was adopted to distinguish between the Czech and German-speaking peoples living in the country. The Latin from Czechia is attested as early as 1602 and was first used in English in 1841. Other early uses occurred in 1856 and in an 1866 report on the Austro-Prussian War, the disintegration of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the proclamation of the new Republic of Czechoslovakia in 1918 saw initial proposals to use the traditional name Bohemia for the newly formed state. After the establishment of Czechoslovakia, the name Czechia appeared in English alongside the official name, as a reference to all the Czech lands and as a differentiation between the Czech and Slovak parts of the state. The first written evidence comes from the article Literary History of the Czechs published on January 4, 1925 by the New York Times. The name was commonly used in the Anglophone press until the German occupation of the Czech lands in 1939. Adoption of Czechia. With the dissolution of Czechoslovakia in 1993, the Czech Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports recommended the use of the name Czechia, but this has not been fully adopted by Czech authorities. In contrast to this lack of support, representatives of English-speaking countries have shown a willingness to accept the name. The situation was most accurately expressed by British Secretary for Press and Politics Giles Portman. Czechs still use the name Česká republika rather than Česko, and the English equivalent, the Czech Republic, rather than Czechia. Were that pattern to change, we would have no problem at all with adapting accordingly. But we feel that the initiative for the change must come from the Czech side and not from us, as Czechia is rarely used and the long form is unwieldy. The adjective Czech is sometimes used for the country's name. In 2013, Czech President Miloš Zeman recommended the wider official use of Czechia, and on the 14th of April 2016, the country's political leadership agreed to make Czechia the official short name. The new name was approved by the Czech cabinet on the 5th of May 2016 as the Czech Republic's official short name and was published in the United Nations UNTERM and UNGEGN country name databases on July 5, 2016. Other languages. The renaming of the country in 1918 and 1993 was reflected in the majority of other languages, with only a few retaining the form used previously for Bohemia. Unlike English, other languages adopted the new short forms such as Czechia in Azerbaijani, Czechia in German, Czechia in Dutch, Czechia in Norwegian, Czechia in Swedish, Czechia in Danish, Česko in Slovak, in Belarusian, in Ukrainian, in Russian and Bulgarian, Czechia in Lithuanian, Czechia in Latvian, Czechia in Romanian, Czechia in Italian, in Hebrew, in Arabic, Czechia in Portuguese, Czechia in Spanish, Czechia in French, Czechja in Maltese, Czechia in Finnish, Czech in Estonian, Tau Sigma Epsilon Chi Iota Alpha in Greek, in Georgian, in Armenian, Czechia in Turkish, in Japanese, in Korean and in Chinese.